Galaxy heads, 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 galaxy heads. That's why. Galaxy head.
Hello to everyone out there in galaxies far, far away and galaxies near, near and close. This is the next instalment on the Galaxy Heads podcast. I'm your host, Jimmy the Saint, and I'm sat here as always with John Simmons.
Always. Hello.
Always, never leaving my side.
When you go, I'm still sitting here.
Yep.
Once a week, you see me and come back. I'm still sitting here.
Covered in dust.
Festering.
And stink.
Right, cheers.
Welcome to this episode. We've decided to go with the title of Jabba's Palace Creatures today for this episode. I think we realised last week that mine and John's initial love of Star Wars was the creatures, and mine was certainly Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, that's what started it all.
That's it. So we thought, why not delve deep into the underbelly of the criminal world of Jabba?
Scum and villainy, yeah.
Yes.
But first of all, what I notice is that when I've been watching, when I've seen, I've watched that film hundreds of times, and I still manage to find something pop up in the background that I've not seen before.
Is that because the quality of the scenes have got better and better with?
Well, yeah, but that was that thing, wasn't
definition.
it? When the original films come out, panned and scanned, you didn't have the left and right widescreen, so people didn't even know like Dengar was in it. They were like, "What? Dengar's in it?" And other people, Bosk and that. I think they appeared at the edges of the screen. But no, it's I've noticed something different every time I've watched it, which just shows the amount of effort they went into to get all those weird creatures in the background.
Jabba's Palace is arguably my favourite scenes in. It's a great opening to Jedi, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's really good.
They even starting off with the droid coming out of the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah. The eye on the arm that comes out. It's straight away just it's this world of Jabba's palace and the excitement that's inside.
Well, let's take a look at the creatures inside. I mean, we'll start off talking about Jabba himself, yeah, and then we'll talk about the surrounding people.
Yeah.
Jabba himself.
He was made in Stuart Freeborn's office in London, I think, and he was made up of a huge amount of latex and silicone. They had like a little guy in the tail, I think, and then about 3 other operators doing the head and arm and everything. I think that was the most expensive model puppet in history at that time, I think.
I'd say it's probably one of the best model puppets in history, and still is.
It's real, isn't it? It's when you see the CGI of him, it's awful.
Yeah, they can't better the puppet. If they bring a Hutt into the Star Wars again, they need to do a puppet. The CG is just not. It's not there.
All that's left, I think, is just the eyes at the moment on the tour, like the Identities tour that's going on at the moment. They've got a glass cabinet inside. All that's left is just his eyes, and they're amazing.
Really? Oh, what's happened to the rest of it? Dissolved?
Just rots away.
Perish?
Perish like
underpant lining. It's that's tragic. That's all that's left. But the connection, he is much scarier than any of the CGI Jabba. When they went back to New Hope and put Jabba in it, and they remastered when they had him in the Phantom Menace.
Well, I think the movement that they tried to make him move as much as possible. They were literally jumping about, moving, bellows and stuff to make him work inside.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really coming across on screen the amount of effort these people are jumping about inside.
Sweating.
Yeah, but that's almost a better look in a way, because the lack of movement makes it more believable.
It's scary.
Yeah, when you see a creature in real life, you don't see it jumping about and going mad. It's literally just looking about and moving slightly.
Not even that. When you see villains in any other movie, the ones that are still and don't react a lot are the scariest ones. They might just take off their glasses and clean them with a little cloth.
Yeah.
Or I remember watching
backhand a golden droid and leave green slob over its slime over its chest.
Yeah, I've seen De Niro do that in a few films.
Yeah.
When I watched the Goodfellas extras.
Yeah.
There's De Niro, there's Ray Liotta, there's Joe Pesci, and then there's the guy who's their boss, and I can't remember the actor's name. He's a big fella. He's a big fella, good fella.
Yeah.
Anyway, he says when he came to do the part, he said the director said to him, Scorsese said to him, he's slow. In everything he does, he's slow, and it's purpose. He can move when he has to, but it's more about
don't get me wrong. Jabba can sprint.
Oh yeah, I've seen him do the 100 meters.
100 meter slime, and he leaves other snails in his juice.
Yeah, people slipping over as they walk behind him. It's yeah.
But I mean, and there's the mad creatures next to him, like that dog thing on a chain that barks when they walk in, and like there was that huge fat round like Hermione, I think, or something he's called, and there's each one of these strange creatures has a huge backstory that's been made in like the expanded universe, and I think he was meant to be like Jabba's chef or something,
right?
And most of the names for them were made up by the artists.
Well, you told me an interesting thing about Salacious Crumb earlier, didn't you? So Salacious Crumb, for anyone who doesn't know, is the space monkey.
Lizard monkey. A coaxian lizard monkey or something, isn't it? I don't know.
He sits on Jabba's throne with him and laughs.
Yeah.
That one. Takes out C-3PO's eye.
Yeah. Well, the name for him, Salacious Crumb, on the extras of the Blu-ray, Phil Tippett goes on about how that name came about, and they made him or something, and they went out for lunch and they had a few beers and they got a bit tipsy and they came out, and Phil Tippett said, "Hold on guys, I just need to tie up my shoelaces." And then they said, "That's a good name for that guy." And then, shoelaces.
Because he was so drunk, he struggled with saying shoelaces.
Yeah, and he probably struggled tying his shoelaces Crumb up. So he said to George Lucas, "What do you think of that?" And he went, "No, that's ridiculous, or not up for that." But then he did actually change it to like Crumb at the end. They were, "Oh right, yeah, Salacious Crumb."
Where did he get Crumb from?
He was drunk and spilt all his lunch over his chest and from crumbs in his plaid check shirt.
Did he name most of his characters through just things on his body?
Yeah, the one character was "Get out of the way, you idiot," when he was beeping his car dry.
There's one called Water on My Tongue.
Yeah. Another beer, please.
Yeah.
But saying that, Bib Fortuna, that's a ridiculous name.
Bib Fortuna is one of my favourite characters. I've got his figure here. One of the
we saw him at Comic-Con, didn't we? What was the actor called?
Michael Carter, he was called. We did see him. Thanks.
Yeah.
We did see him at Comic Con. We didn't go and chat to him though, did we?
No, he's also in another film. Oh god, that's going to annoy me now. I won't be able to think of it, so I shouldn't have mentioned it. But he's just in a suit. Oh, American Werewolf in London, I think. Right. He's in that.
And has he got the big white snake things coming off his head?
Nails, big long cloak, and pointed needle teeth and red eyes.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be typecast.
It's a horror film, isn't it? Yeah.
He is a great character, Bib Fortuna,
and he has nothing to do with tuna at all.
No, he doesn't like tuna.
No,
I've read that. He
has been not for tuna.
He's been played by two actors, because there's the man who played him in the original Jabba the Hutt,
American Werewolf in London, man.
Yeah,
that we saw in Comic-Con.
And there is the chap who played him in New Hope when they're at the pod race. And he's
whoa, Phantom Menace, James, come on.
Oh god, sorry, Phantom Menace. Sorry, forgive me.
Yes,
in Phantom Menace in the pod race.
Yeah, well, that's the same chap.
That's the same chap in Mando.
Yeah,
in Mando who plays.
Yeah, and he was just a guy that works.
He is not a professionally trained actor.
No, but he's brilliant. He's brilliant. He's as I said previously, I'm so annoyed that he got killed by Boba Fett, because I would have liked for him to carry on.
But he played it a bit more funny than the original. Yeah. I like the original was creepy.
Stroking faces and things like that with the back of his nose.
Faces.
Oh, you watch him stroke a face.
Yeah, you love that.
What do you think of the band?
I love the band in the original. We've got Max Rebo.
Again, I remember them as figures. I remember seeing them at a boot sale, never seeing them before, but instantly knowing, oh my god, that's the band from Jabba's Palace.
And all practical. we will not talk about any of the remastered CGI characters because
No.
the original band we've got Cy Snootle, Max Rebo, and Fiddly McGee. What's his name?
Droopy McCall. Of
Droopy
course.
McCall.
Yeah.
And I mean, the lead singer,
Cy Snoodles.
Cy Snoodles.
Which they brought back in the Clone Wars or Rebels. Didn't they have an episode with her and Zero the Hutt or something?
Did they?
And she was a real sort of like, you know,
A real man's
real
lady.
man's Snoodle.
She is fit. I mean, she's
I mean, look at the lips on her.
essentially. Yes,
I could never work out if they were breasts or cheeks.
I think they're both.
Treats.
They are treats. I mean, she's essentially a blob with eyes and then a little skinny elephant trunk with with
voluptuous lips.
yeah with Katie Price's lips.
There you go.
And she's a great singer.
She's a great singer.
Can you
They did the song in English.
Right.
I think you can YouTube it and find the woman singing the song. And let's sing it.
Yeah, I was going to say sing it.
Yeah. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Where the
I
dancers are
think
dancing.
we've got that note perfect.
You've got the big lady dancing, and you've got the
lady
Twi'lek.
again. We're talking breasts again.
Yeah,
with
the
three
Twi'lek
sets of breasts.
we're gonna talk about. Oh,
And
the
there's
big,
another dance that her breast falls out when Jabba pulls her with the chain.
yeah, that's the Twi'lek.
Yeah, and Princess Leia in what's
She's
George
not
Lucas
dancing.
thinking? With
Oh,
this?
you're just carrying on with the boob talk, rather
Yeah,
than
but this
the dancing.
R-rated Jabba's Palace.
Yeah.
scene.
Well, just talking about that band, that song. Is that in the remastered, or have they taken that song out and put in
So
which is rubbish?
Yeah, okay, this is
Yeah,
completely of the time as well in CGI. Zooming in down his throat and seeing his
Oh,
tongue
he
wobble.
looks at the camera.
Yes, it's so un-Star Wars. It's just totally out of.
And Lucas
takes out
did
the whole
that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was CG. And look what we can do with CG. Oh my God, let's do everything we can, regardless if it's good or not. Han stepping over Jabba's tail and all that sort of thing. They moved, like almost like the episode of Simpsons when the dog comes down and goes, "Right, guys, I've got to go," and they just scratch him up the screen.
Yeah. Instead of,
That's what Han Solo's like, stepping over that tail. But the original's far better, even though it does look exactly how she was made, with a guy with rods at the back of her elbows, and he's like, again, you can see him with like a pair of Converse trainers on with duct tape and two rods going to the bottom of his feet, dancing, doing her feet movements as well.
Yeah.
And there's the the fake stage of the guy underneath puppeting and everything. Doesn't matter. That's real. That happened, and the lighting around it, the smoke around it, it's real. It looks real. Why they had to put Jedi rocks in it?
Is that what it's called? Jedi rocks.
Yeah, and that little thing, the little thing, the guy singing that looked down his throat, I think that's a yasm. And that,
a yasm.
I believe so. And that was the original concept drawing for the Ewoks, I think.
I know they originally wanted a man singing with her.
Right.
The original goal was they wanted that, but I just think they ended up just going with her in the end.
Yeah, it's silly. But that little thing, and his little thing going, and a little, it's silly. But then saying all that, watching that as a teenager, seeing Boba Fett again,
Yeah, your man.
walk across the screen and then flirt with those two.
So that's in
dancers.
the remastered one because they
Yeah.
bring 3 backing singers, don't they? They bring a
do.
granola. What they call it?
Granola, green Greedo.
Yeah, but they're
Rodian.
Rodian.
singer.
Rodian.
Yeah.
Rodian.
She just looks like
Pink lady with
Greedo with a bikini on.
Yeah, and Pink lady with the red
red spikes.
80s mohawk, and another Twi'lek, I think.
Another Twilight with like cross.
Yeah, who
sort of black
Boba
looking.
Fett sort of flirts with. And they're backing singers again. They just
Not needed,
look
yeah.
out of place.
Yeah, and Fett touch. So, but then again, this is quite cool. Fett touching one of their chins is showing another side of Fett we didn't see. This sort of flirty,
Man.
smuggler sort of, again, similar to Han Solo in a way.
Yeah.
That sort of, that deleted scene I showed you the other day of Han kissing that woman in the cantina and then she walks away. That, if you look closely, that whole Boba Fett costume is just wrong. It's just cobbled together because in the mid-90s or 97 or whatever that came out, they said to the guy, the the guy that was in charge of the archives at the time, I think his name was Don Bees, to go and grab a Boba Fett costume with Boba Fett, and he's like, right, okay. I mean, there is about 10 Boba Fett helmets. There's tons of different armour for pre-production, promo, the Kenner shoot, Jedi, Empire, all that sort of thing. He just cobbled together what he thought was right.
Right.
So he's got this outfit that's made of all different, era-specific Boba Fett items that weren't correct. And if you look at his backpack, you can see the scorch mark on it where Han Solo hit it with the vibro axe later on in the film.
Right.
So in the backpack, you can see the dent and the burn marks and everything that's been made as he walks off. You see.
Yep.
So
little continuity error there.
again, they wouldn't have cared. George Lucas wouldn't have cared. He didn't. I mean, at one point, Boba Fett's image is mirrored. His antenna's on the wrong side when he nods.
Right.
Again, just mirrored. They don't care. It looked better mirrored, or for some reason they had a reason to do it, and it was better. It looked better, and they got that sort of continuity that it went out the window. They didn't care about.
Also, back then you didn't watch the film thousands of times again and again and scrutinise.
But I mean, even when the
bit.
special editions came out, they were only available on video or laserdisc at the best. But the majority of people didn't have that.
Yeah. So we've got the Max Rebo back. Cy Snoot and the Max Rebo band.
Yeah.
So poor Droopy McCall doesn't get his name mentioned.
He doesn't get a look in. He's a mole, isn't he? Doesn't get a look in.
He can't. Yeah, don't get.
But yeah, hang on. Max Rebo is the elephant piano player, pianist.
Yeah, he's the little blue penis.
He's the little blue pianist, and he's got a little blue pianist for a nose as well.
Yeah,
actually a long blue pianist. But again, little fact about him: his feet played the keyboard. If you look at the maquette, again, I think possibly Phil Tippett gets mentioned a lot. We should have him sponsor the show.
Well,
the maquette he made was like upside, like his bum was like forward and his legs were up over the keys, playing the keys.
Right.
So when the Kenner didn't like have any promo pictures or maquette pictures, so they just had the image of him in the piano.
Right.
So they just went with what, like a bit like Blue Snake or 2 with the long legs. They put long legs on this guy, made little elephant elephant feet for him.
Right. So but do you actually see that in the film? He's he's got a little pair of legs that he plays piano with.
No, his hands that you see bounce about are his feet, and they sort of come up.
So where are his hands? What is his hands doing?
Hands are obviously holding him up inside the piano. You got those pedals on the bottom of a piano, haven't you?
Yeah.
He's doing that with his hands.
He's got confused, doesn't he?
Yeah, basically he could stand up normal. So he wants to sit.
But basically someone gave him a piano, he's never seen anyone play it, and he goes, well, how do I play it? And you go, have a go, and he goes, feet? Probably.
And he sounded great.
Yeah, and instant.
Jim McCall was listening, but he couldn't see, and he went, right, you're in, you're hired.
You're in the band. You made a band.
You wait till you see the singer.
She's a real cool because she's got breeks or chests.
Right. Nice chest, same about the wires. So,
what else we got? Gamorrean guards.
Gamorrean guards. Yeah, they would just. Do you want another fact on them?
Yeah, you got one. Got one. They're just green pigs. They're just green pigs,
just
aren't they?
inflated green pigs, basically. I think they were just stagehands, pretty much, or extras. They weren't. Actors.
And that's what they looked like in real life.
Yeah, they literally just went, I'm not wearing that hat and that shoulder armour. That's a rubbish act.
They're just big green pigs.
Yeah. No, they were just guys put in a suit and said, can you just pull Han Solo over that way? You got to do this, stand there, get shoved about. I suppose the one that fell into the Rancor pit was a bit more talented than just a extra.
He's a roly-poly green pig.
He's a stunt pig. So... yeah, they were just literally just stagehands, and you've seen the behind the scenes pictures of hairdryers stuck like in the nose or in the mouth to cool the actor down inside, and the hairdryers were just set to cool, I suppose.
They're all boiling. They're all boiling hot in there. What did you think of the new Gamorrean guards in The Mandalorian? Because they were skinnier, weren't they?
Really, like thin. But then, in the Star Wars universe, when you see an alien, they all look identical, don't they? But they wear different clothes. So
that's how you tell them apart. But we probably all look the same to them.
Yeah.
You know, Gamorrean guard wouldn't be able to pick us out of a parade.
No, so we have to put on a bit of weight or slim down to differentiate.
Yeah, so they know who they're dating. I saw the backs, the extras of Mandalorian, and Favreau or Filoni, I can't remember who it is, says, oh, these aren't like the Gamorrean guards from Jabba's. These are fighting Gamorreans.
Well, imagine
That's why
Jabba's
they're a bit
palace. Imagine the drug taking, the alcohol
and
drinking,
banquets.
the banquets.
They're supposed to be on
The
the job,
security
though.
guards are going to be a bit plump.
They're going to be peckish. Yeah, and he sleeps a lot, Jabba. So as soon as he goes off,
They're off with that chef of his to eat.
yeah, with that big round chef. So they're Gamorreans.
There was another massive dude, the same as that chef, going back to him, Elephant Mon.
Elephant Mon. Now
I think that was his name.
they filled out his backstory, and he was supposed to be above Jabba the Hutt, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or have I got that wrong?
Well, no, you probably got it right.
I'm pretty sure he's in charge of. Well, in his book, which is no longer canon.
Oh, I thought no, I did. Wasn't he like the bookkeeper or the guy that did the VAT for Jabba?
Did he? He doesn't look like he can hold a pen. His hands are the size of shovels.
Well, maybe he has got some sort of. Well, they'd have like some sort of vibro pen.
Yeah,
Or he'd control it with his ear or something.
that's true. Yeah, some nice big beasts in there.
What about the spider things? When you see Luke come in and you see that lovely white
monks.
horizon of the gate, the monks.
That's a great
mental.
story.
That's absolutely crazy. These glass-bowled spiders that walk along have brains inside that were meant to be some monks of the palace beforehand, was it?
That was their palace. They were monks. They got to a point where they realised they didn't need their bodies, so they took their brains out.
And then Jabba came in like, shit, we need our bodies back.
Yeah, so they put themselves in a bowl on a spider.
Makes sense. That's what I do.
It's what happens to Bib Fortuna in the books, isn't it? In the books, which aren't canon anymore, Bib Fortuna takes over Jabba's palace after Jabba's been killed in Jedi.
Okay, I never heard
And
that.
he was already colluding with the monks.
That's kind of the continuity flows towards Mandalorian.
No,
Yeah.
it does, yeah. He was colluding with the monks to take over Jabba anyway, and he wasn't on the. I don't think he's on the sail barge. He may be. I don't think he is.
No, I don't think you do see him on Sailboat.
So he took over, but eventually the monks were manipulating him, and he gets his brain put in a bowl and put in a metal spider's
Anus.
anus. Yeah, so he becomes one of them, which isn't canon anymore, as I say.
Well,
But
see, that's good to hear. I like that.
we're bringing a lot of good stuff
Yeah.
in here.
What about the Rancor though? Come on.
Oh, the Rancor.
My kids love
Yeah,
the
mine
Rancor.
too.
They're, well, I've got a vintage Rancor toy that would have been kept normally in a nice cabinet or a shelf at home. My kids, it's already missing an arm. It's just been annihilated through play. They love it. But in the film as a kid, you watched it. It was amazing. The black surrounds of the matte background and it.
Yeah, the black halo. The black halo, all the way around it. Yeah, it's even got his ear pierced, look.
But again, going back to the DVD extras and that, they're saying how they filmed it, how it looks so ginormous and menacing and moves so slow and crunches through that bone.
Yeah.
They filmed that with a high-speed camera.
Right.
And he was just a puppet. I mean, George Lucas said originally, we're going to make the best man in a suit costume bad guy thing ever. And they did. They spent loads of money on the suit and it just looked like a load of kebabs sellotaped together. It didn't work. So they went back to the puppetry, which again always seems to win. Even nowadays in films, they're still doing it. Of a guy with his hand up his ass and just literally filming it like that, moving it around head, crunching, and they moved it so fast on the high-speed camera, then played it back, slowed down, which gave the smoothness of the body moving and made it look much better on the big screen.
They must have had a full-size arm as well, because Luke gets held at one point. So they must have had a full-size hand to hold Luke. And
there's a scene when he jumps up and hangs on the grate.
What, the Rancor?
No, Luke.
Oh right,
he does like a Jedi jump, and I think like Klaatu and that are all banging his fingers with staffs and stuff. And there was like an old magazine like Starlog or something like that in the States that came out that showed that. And their children and kids were saying, "Well, where's that in the film?"
Yeah,
they
were going mad. I remember the 8-year-old kids going, "Where the fuck is the bit from that magazine
this film anymore?
Take it back, Mum!" And threw the VHS at her face
with a clunking sound.
So many mums have got VHS dents in their face from that because of that scene.
And also, have you seen the picture of the dragon fighting him?
No.
So, again, ILM were working on what was that? Obviously, an 80s film, Dragon Slayer, possibly.
Yeah, that's how
and
it's
it had a stop motion dragon.
Yeah.
Full metal armature and all that sort of thing. Looked amazing, and they were in house building it at the same time, I believe, as Return of the Jedi, and they, as a promo, or maybe just a mucking about sort of, image. They put that Rancor fighting that dragon, like his hand around the dragon's neck. Have a look. It's worth a Google.
Yeah, I will. What was it? What was it for? A scene before when Luke fights?
Because it's only made the rounds since the internet's been around and stuff. I don't think it came out in any promo or anything. It just was as a fun thing they did when they weren't there.
It's a great creature, isn't it? It's a great looking creature. I bought the Legacy version for my son at Christmas. I mean, they look great. All of the models look great. All of the figures look great, and I think that's a testament to the actual original puppet, which is incredible.
What about the? There's some really weird ones. There's like a Mana Man.
A Mana Man,
There's a staff with some skulls hanging off by the hair, that sort of thing. Then there were these two. There was like these things that crawl up the wall with like a big tongue, like a red. There's like a crab thing, and then there's like these like giraffe heads. Have you seen them? Those two like long-necked heads.
Yes.
And they've got like a giraffe pattern on them that around like the back where like Yak Face is standing and stuff. And I like it. They've got Jawas in it.
Jawas. Well, it's on Tatooine. You get a couple of Jawas who have, down on their luck. They've lost their jobs. They go to the local bar, stroke murder den.
Yeah, I like it that they're kicking about in the sand and they're tripping over each other, drunk, got some space juice that. A bit like I was space juice at that secret cinema. Yeah.
Look, the big thing for me with this scene, it was quite intimidating, wasn't it? That's what they ruined in the remastered by putting that band in and backing singers. They don't look. I think when the Twi'lek gets pulled down onto the Rancor, down into the Rancor's pit, I think the CGI Cy Snoot goes and does like a gulp. Yeah, and
pulls their neck,
and the backing singers go because they're not reacting to anything they're seeing because they've just been put in afterwards. The original.
No, she's Yeah.
Oh gosh, she says doesn't she? Cy Snoot goes in her big lips. Originally it just had the creepiness of that band still going. As Jabba's pulling her, that band is still going away, and the band don't really care. They're just still. Imagine that if you're getting beaten up or threatened, being pulled into something like that, and the band are still playing in the background,
I think
hitting
they
their
even
piano
added her
keys.
in the pit. That wasn't. She just went down for it. Her scream, and that's it. You don't see her again. But again, in the special editions, or it might have even been because he tinkered with them again for like a DVD release, then a Blu-ray release. He put another making the Ewoks blink and that sort of stuff. Yeah. There's a scene with her just sitting down, looking up in the pit.
Right.
You hear the growl of the Rancor, and then it just flicks back into the Jabba's palace again. I didn't mind that. That's okay because real world there's no silly CGI in it. Really.
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, that actress they got back, didn't they? It was the same actress, sort of. Why did they need Jabba's? When did they use Jabba's palace again?
It might have been for that.
It might have been for that, and they got her back like 30 years later or whatever, and she still looked the same. It was the same actress. Yeah. I think she's a dancer.
Yeah, she was dancer. Yeah.
But this is what you mentioned earlier. As she's being pulled towards Jabba, her boob comes out of her top, doesn't it?
Yeah, I remember being at the video shop as a kid with you and a few others. With Doug Charlton, Movie Madness, where you said you worked previously. Yeah. And him saying, telling us our beloved film Star Wars has got boobies in it. And we were like, no, what? He goes, no, look, watch. And he put that scene on, and the pause button got worn out, didn't it? Trying to get it on the right.
Really?
Bit, there! You can see! And there is this green boob.
I mean, I've definitely seen it. Yeah, no, I've seen. I don't remember this scenario where we got shown in the video shop, but I've definitely seen it.
And as a kid, being shown a boob at that hormonal age was very exciting. But for me, then it ruined it. I didn't want my Star Wars to have.
For me, it added
rude connotations in it. It had Leia in it. She was bad enough.
That was bad enough. You're there to put a jumper on.
Put your coat on.
That is quite an outfit. Leia's outfit in that. She goes from New Hope, where she's wearing all white and looks all saintly, and then Empire, she looks all commando, you know, and stuff. And then in that, she's suddenly in this gold bikini. You suddenly realise she's one of the most attractive women ever.
Powerful in that slave outfit. It's like,
well, she kills Jabba.
Exactly. It's like,
spoiler alert.
I mean, don't mess with Leia. Look what you don't humiliate her by putting her in that outfit.
She strangled to death a man with a 200-inch neck.
Yeah, Carrie Fisher says that was the best part of Star Wars. She hated wearing that outfit, I think.
Really?
She hated being laying about on a slug, and when she acted that like really like pulling the chain, it was like she really got into it. She was like, I'm gonna murder this guy.
Really? That doesn't. Yeah.
I mean, when they made that her outfit as well, they made it on previous measurements of her body, maybe the start of filming Jedi or getting that ready. And then Carrie Fisher had perhaps a good way of losing weight by the amount of things she did.
Cocaine.
Yeah,
cocaine. Yeah.
They don't mention that on the show. She just
Is that not in this book? Here?
They just say she loses weight in inverted commas, and the bikini hung off her.
Right.
It didn't sit.
Oh, really?
Right. So there was like panic stations, last minute alterations to get it to be right on her. You know.
It's certainly a look.
There was, speaking of her, you know, I don't want to go on about her drug use and that sort of thing, but there was recently found papers and that sort of thing in the archives saying today's shoot won't happen, blah blah blah. This cancelled. Carrie's sick. Like
really?
Carrie not in, absent and stuff. Yeah. Because she'd been out all night, or she
was it definitely because of that, or could she have genuinely been?
She could have genuinely been sick. There's no, but the way the guy was talking,
yeah,
it was on her party era.
It's not.
I mean, she's been open about it in her books and
and on every interview. I watched the thing the other night.
She's got a book, what's it called? Drinking. Her book.
Drinking drugs. Don't know.
Let's do drinking drugs. Let's film Star Wars.
I watched a YouTube video of her the other day, and it was all like the best bits of her in interview. She's the best. I love Carrie Fisher. Yeah. I've got a Princess Leia tattoo on my arm. In one of the interviews, she must have only been about 30 in this interview, quite a stuffy interview, and he's sat opposite her and he says, "So you've been quite into drugs in the past. Do you miss drugs?" And she goes, "Yeah. Why? Have you got some?" In this stuffy interview, you know.
Brilliant.
She was so funny and so quick.
There was a French Blue Peter, wasn't there, or something equivalent of? I think it was Blau Pierre. And she spoke French. She could speak French. Yeah. That's German, isn't it?
Blau. Pierre's a French.
We got half right.
Blau.
Right, back to Jabba's palace.
Blau. Don't know. Well, hang on. We've got a few figures in front of us who are from Jabba's palace. We can have a quick rundown. We've got
Squid
the Gamorrean
Face.
guard.
Loved him as a figure.
Squid Face, incredible.
Do you know why though?
Why you loved him, or why he's a good figure?
Well, both. His hand, you could hold his pistol in well.
Yeah.
His blaster would always stay in his hand. Not once did you see him in the film with a blaster, but that's
So many figures can't hold their weapons. No. It was horrible. You got Weekaway, who
speaking of Leia, she can't hold it. She's trembling.
Need that hit. We've got Reese, who is in his brown pajamas.
Yeah, see these names, Reese and Squidface,
Platoon.
and like Squidface. That was the maker's name while they were making it.
Mr. Squidface made a Squidface character.
They were like, what is this tentacle mouth or like squid face? They're just like, have you, I've done casting him. Steve, can you give Squidface a lick of paint? And then move him over and like joke. And then somehow I think that filtered through to Kenner headquarters, and that was their name on the card, Squidface.
Right.
But in the Star Wars universe, it's Tessek, isn't it?
Is it?
It is.
I thought it was Squidface.
Reese, 3 eyes.
Was he drunk again?
3 eyes.
3 eyes. 3 eyes. 3 eyes. Reese. I've got to go back and work on threes.
The basically they were just pissed and high.
Yeah.
The whole time.
The whole time.
It's amazing Star Wars got made.
It's the characters' names. It's interesting because when they bring out new characters in later films or whatever, in like the prequels as well, some of the characters have really ridiculous names.
Yeah.
And I'd go, I hate that.
Do you know who I hate?
Dexter Jettster.
Oh, yeah, Dexter Jettster.
Is that him?
Yeah, that's
I
what
guessed
I
it.
yeah.
Dexter Jettster.
You guessed my
Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Well, that looks like a Camino saber dart. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also the announcers at the pod race.
Greg Proops.
Yeah. Oh God.
There's young Skywalker.
Yeah, it looks a bit like you, Jason.
He does, yeah, Greg Proops.
Yeah.
Well, yes, and they got given silly names, and I go, oh, that's crap. But when you look back at the originals, they did have silly names.
But you knew what you were getting. Right. On the phone, I've just finished one, yeah? It's called Yak Face. Is he? All right, okay, I'll see you in a minute. He brings up a head that's a yak, and there's a face like a yak face. You know what you're getting.
You know what you're getting. You know what you're getting. Yeah. Talking of
Yaks.
Dexter.
See, look, what is that? Can you? Sorry, we happen to have a book here. I'm revealing the behind the curtain scenes at the moment. Sorry. There's a character that's
it looks like a Swede with an old woman's white hair on.
Swede with some hair pushed in and a nappy around its chest.
See if we can guess his name.
Sweethead.
Swede. Yeah, I think so. I think it was Ulrika Johnson. I don't know.
No. There was characters that weren't in it. There was a guy that was Light Man. Literally a guy that wore like a straitjacket with the arms undone that were flopping about, with halogen bulbs sewn in. And I think the guy was like walking around like an oven and like overheating in his suit. It was like literally like bulbs going off.
Now there's a Greedo here.
Yeah, and he is wearing the
orange life jacket.
The life jacket that we went on about in the previous podcast. Just to let the listeners know, if you want to read along with us, and we'll make a little ping sound when it's time to turn the page.
Yeah,
it's the Star Wars Creatures and Aliens book.
Yeah, it's there's some lovely behind the scenes footage here. Lots of hands and faces.
Yeah,
it's interesting how young people lost their hair back then.
Well, it was all the gear.
Acid and, there's Tippett.
There he is.
Now you were telling me about Tippett earlier. How's he doing?
I think he's right.
Oh, good.
Sarlacc pit. Here we go. Right, that was the thing that was redone, wasn't it? And the
for the worse.
Yes, that plant that came out the middle of its a mouth.
Yeah, the beak.
Yeah, that was a Little Shop of Horrors character came out.
Audrey too. Yeah,
came out. But they were saying, I think, a lot of those people flying into the pit. There was like a Klaatu and stuff, which is Billy D. Williams' son.
Playing the Sarlacc.
No, playing Audrey too.
Playing Klaatu.
Feed me, Lando. The Klaatu character in the brown sort of overalls that goes in. I don't know if that's him that was filmed flying into the Sarlacc pit, but he was apparently Billy D's son, and he says picture of him.
Really?
Arms, around each other.
I loved the original Sarlacc because it was this was the mouth, this was the teeth. You can see where it ends.
It's hideous looking, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks alive. You don't need to put anything else in it. Those teeth sticking out, the tentacles that come out and wrap around the feet.
It's all practical.
Yeah.
Of course it was back then.
I think there was old mattresses and boxes and stuff underneath that massive pit. I mean, I think there's behind the scenes photos of the wooden structure and that underneath, and the actors and stuntmen flying down into it would be dusting off scorpions and stuff. And
really, crikey!
And I think there was a few broken arms and broken noses and stuff where people were like literally landing on each other.
It's a scary looking thing, the Sarlacc pit, and putting the beak on it, the CGI beak, takes you away from because. It takes you away from the scariness, because falling into like quicksand or a hole in the sand is scary enough.
Yeah.
But then imagine it's got teeth and it's going to digest you for 1,000 years. Yeah. How it keeps you alive for 1,000 years?
Yeah, it must be some sort of like keeping the blood flowing around you while it was sucking.
It must put some. It must put some things.
Yeah,
into
I always
you,
imagined it like a spider, like devouring a fly or something, like wrapping you up in some sort of stringy stuff.
It was the Sarlacc pit, wasn't it? I mean. There is some original concept drawing here, so clearly originally they did want it to have a mouth and a beak and things like that. and they eventually did it.
That looks it looks real because it was real. It was there. It was filmed. They made it in the desert. And when you see this eggplant thing come out, it looks low res. It looks that horrible sort of smooth CGI effect.
Yeah.
And then of course that was the nail in the coffin with the Boba Fett, wasn't it? Because hitting the back of his backpack, flies off, smashes against a sail barge. You hear the sound, and then him scream going into the Sarlacc pit. Is that right? They then changed that and really said "F you" to the fans that wanted Boba Fett alive by putting that beak out and grabbing him and pulling him in.
Right.
Really sort of capture him and
saying he's dead.
Yeah.
Shows what they knew.
Yeah.
But again, it takes away the initial scariness and realism of the original. Anything they did with CGI, it's like The Thing versus the remake of The Thing.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a remake. It's a prequel, isn't it?
I don't know. Well, the thing is terrifying because it's
all practical effects, isn't it?
It is, and it's a bit silly seeing the head upside down, sprouting legs, and then scuttling off under the table.
Though.
But yes, and then oh god, the sound of that guy's voice going in the snow, and it's like his face is just
And where the man puts his arms into the belly and they get bitten off, and they used the amputee, didn't they?
Oh, did
that doctor had no arms, so when he puts them in, that body can easily just pull off two arms that aren't there.
That was handy. Harmless enough.
Harmless, but it goes back to this: the practical effects will always beat the CGI. Always.
Yeah.
They're not at that point. They're not at the point. Even now in 2020.
Even now you can tell stuff. If it's not done brilliantly, you can see that it's not right.
Yeah, they should only use it for touches.
How good was the sail barge explosion at the end?
Yeah,
with that bit of debris flying towards the camera. You've got one shot at that, and you've got a model that's taken weeks and it's cost millions, and then they're just going to explode it. And if it looks crap, it looks crap.
It looks crap, yeah.
But the way it's slow motion, you see it, and just if there was any hope of any of those being alive afterwards, it certainly isn't now. That was what my reasoning for Boba Fett would be alive, that the explosion killed the Sarlacc pit.
That's where you thought they were going to...
Well, that's what I thought could happen. That the explosion was such a mighty bang that it literally killed the Sarlacc, but because the guys were so deep inside the belly by that point, they were okay. So you've got this disgusting sloppy mess of a Sarlacc left, but you've got Boba Fett still with his gauntlet fixed to his wrist that he could fire back up.
It's an option. We don't know how Boba Fett got out yet, do we? Mando season.
Can I trademark that? So if it happens,
you saw it here. You heard it here first.
There you go.
You heard it here first. So that's a lot of the creatures. Yak Face obviously is the guy. The Yak Face. And Man is the chap who looks a bit like a cobra sort of thing. Those figures are worth a lot of money. Yak Face and Man, if you've got them out there.
How much is Stuart Freeborn worth? And Tippett.
Stuart Freeborn, that's the one who designed Yoda, right?
Yeah, in that book you see a picture of him holding the Yoda face next to him. Well, here we go. Look, hang on. We are flicking through this book here, but we've just now found the Sarlacc pit with this
beak.
Yeah, strange beak.
It just doesn't look as
good.
But
yeah, the Hoth Wampa though, that looked better. I like that scene of him picking his arm up off the floor and trying to start his car.
That's a man in a suit, right?
Yeah.
Man in a suit.
Amputee again.
Probably. Or he could have put his arm down his jumper.
Could have done, because I reckon there's some space in that Wampa suit to do that.
Yeah.
A bit like in Predator when...
Carl Weathers, who's still with us,
and he likes the weather, and you can see him look round when he gets his arm blown off, and you can see his arm straight down the side of his body.
Never going to be able to watch that entire film again.
Have I ruined that for you? Sorry.
So we haven't covered all the creatures. Obviously, they put so much into that, and that's why it works. They've put so many creatures into it.
But they put so many. Going back to Greedo again, they put so many in there, but yet they're still saying, "Look, we've still got some costumes left over from the first film. Just put." I mean, Bosk's in it. Dengar's in it. A guy that looks like some sort of he's got band around his head and he's got like a red jumpsuit on. There's a guy that there's a lady with long blonde hair with like a zigzag sort of pattern. I think there's just so many weird characters and people in the background that we've never seen before.
That's good though. That's what makes up the world, right?
That goes back to when we're watching it and you still see things in it that you haven't seen before.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite scenes, if not my favourite scenes in Star Wars. All of the Jabba stuff, the original stuff, obviously. The only thing that that's not in it, Tusken Raiders. You don't see them. I don't think they're much of a drinker.
Too busy picking their bantha's teeth.
Would you like them to revisit Jabba's palace in perhaps Obi-Wan TV show?
Yeah, There's still. I'd like to see. It could the Rancor was in the expanded universe again. The books, the Rancor was a gift, wasn't it? Or
I don't know in the expanded universe.
But again, imagine a scene with Obi-Wan in there. And they've got a different monster down there. They perhaps out the sail barge, having a lovely time, music blaring.
Well, Obi-Wan, Jabba the Hutt, they're just having brunch.
Obi-Wan goes past and they clapped out speed and having to keep the noise down.
I think that's, if we're gonna get it, that makes sense. Obi-Wan on Tatooine. He knows that it's scum and villainy. He knows who
this whole Obi-Wan thing, though. Obi-Wan was told to keep his head down.
Yeah.
And basically sit home and watch pod racing on TV for the next 30 years.
Yep.
So the whole premise of him having massive, exciting adventures and stuff on Tatooine, I don't know how they're going to play that into a TV series.
I don't.
There was
that's for another episode, John. I think people are already looking forward to
There was a great
that.
painting of a concept painting, I think, of Obi-Wan looking over Luke in his T-16 Scarpa flying through Beggar's Canyon, going
Needlepoint.
Going for the eye of the needle or something with Biggs,
right.
And they're all saying to Luke, "I can't believe you did that," because using the Force and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And there's Obi-Wan looking up, using his Force and stuff, making things.
Obi-Wan's helping him,
or making sure he doesn't crash, or
cheating.
I don't know.
Does he go to his sports day at school and help him run quicker?
He does.
Help him do the long jump into the sandpit
He's
forever.
using the Force to untie his things around his ankles so he runs faster at a sack race. keeping the egg on the spoon, Luke.
Was that your Obi-Wan?
Keep
the egg on the spoon, Luke. That's John Lennon.
Are you holding your nose doing that?
No, something else.
Well, I've had enough of this, James, now. It's 46 minutes long.
Well, I'm sure people will look forward to the next instalment.
I
think we've barely scratched the surface. I think we need to do at least another 10 hours on the creatures of Jabba's palace.
Of Jabba's tattoo on his arm.
Well, no, I think we've given the
listeners what they want.
Exactly what they want. I don't think they could ask for more. I think we'll leave it there. Thanks very much for listening. As I say, this was Jabba's Palace is a big thing for me and John in Star Wars. Not only for us loving the scene, but for us collecting the figures, which are some of my favourite figures, some of the best figures, certainly some of the best looking figures, and the models which John paints. And you still collect big Jabbas and big Rancors when you can.
It's dangerous because there's companies like Sideshow and Regal Robot and that sort of thing are bringing out now scanned, digitally scanned like the Rancor,
right?
And it's like $3,000, but it's the Rancor. It's the same as the one that was originally done. It's been scanned. There's no discrepancies on accuracy. And all that is just so deadly now that I've got to the point where you just want everything. You just want to buy all these things because Jabba's Palace was, again, like you say, full of all these ideas and these creatures that you just want to collect.
$3,000.
Well, you can't get them now. They just win it straight away.
Oh, we can't get. Well, I was going to say, if any listeners out there want to donate $3,000 and buy that for us so we can review it,
we'll wait for the next.
We'll happily do a
unboxing.
There
you go.
Happily for you, and you'll get
undressing.
your name. An undressing and unboxing, and you get your name on the title of the screen.
So you two listeners, Dad, and
Mum, $3,000, cough up. So yes, that's all we've got to say for now on Jabba's Palace Creatures. Jabba's Palace Creatures.
Yep. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. We've been the Galaxy Gang, Galaxy Heads, the Galaxy Heads. It's always a pleasure, and like them, subscribe them,
and subscribe them,
and comment them if you've enjoyed what you heard. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.